What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the Daily Walk with Lance. This is where I take my morning Bible devotional, I record it, I upload it, and share it with you guys. Like I say before every video, don't view me as a spiritual leader, prophet, pastor. I'm nothing like that. I'm just the other average Joe trying to show other average Joes. Even if you have a busy 9 to 5, if you'll take 20 minutes out of your day to study the Bible, you'll understand the Bible more, you'll understand what God's will is more, and ultimately most likely have a better life. I'm not saying you won't go through trials and hardships, because that's just part of life. You learn and you grow from those things. So while I'm not saying it's going to be this, you're going to have this perfect life all of a sudden, no, I'm saying you will learn exactly what this life is for, and that it's a preparation for eternity. And let me get mine. There we go. Sorry, I had to get my notes where I wanted them. We had a game last night, and we didn't get home till like 11:30. So still kind of tired, but I still got my workout in today. I know, if you're disabled, you need to do what you can, but we should all be getting out of this gluttonous habit that we've gotten since we've been so comfortable in the West. That goes for me too. Like, I was 300 pounds when I started working out, and now I'm down to 247. So you can do it. I say only. I work out about 40 minutes to an hour. It's about all I got. And I've like I said, I've lost over 50 pounds. So if I can do it, you can do it. But anyway, let me see. What is today? Today is the 15th. Okay. This is the Bible devotional for April 15th. As always, I'm in the New American Standard Bible. We're in the book of Matthew, chapter 1, verses 18 through 25, which is the end of the book, or the chapter. And this is the conception and birth of Jesus. And it says, "Now the birth of Jesus the Messiah was as follows. When his mother Mary had been betrothed to Joseph, before they came together, she was found to be pregnant by the Holy Spirit. And her husband Joseph, since he was a righteous man and did not want to disgrace her, planned to send her away secretly. But when he had thought this over, behold, an angel of the Lord appeared to him in a dream, saying, 'Joseph, son of David, do not be afraid to take Mary as your wife, for the child who has been conceived in her is of the Holy Spirit. She will give birth to a son, and you shall call him Jesus, for he will save his people from their sins.' Now all this took place so that what was spoken by the Lord through the prophet would be fulfilled. Behold, the virgin will conceive and give birth to a son, and they shall name him Emmanuel, which translated means God with us. And Joseph awoke from his sleep and did as the angel of the Lord commanded him, and took Mary as his wife, but kept her a virgin until she gave birth to a son, and he named him Jesus." And again, that is Matthew chapter 1, verses 18 through 25. And, I think we've talked on this before, but, this is the conception and confirmation of the virgin birth, that it was of the Holy Spirit, that even an angel came down to Joseph and covered him, saying, hey, no, it wasn't that she was unfaithful or anything like that. It was literally, she's going to give birth to the Messiah. So she's still a virgin. Like, this is different. Because back in those days, even being pregnant before you were married, that was taboo. And they'd be outcast, things like that. So that's why Joseph wasn't sending her away because he was ashamed. He was trying to protect her. And the angel knew that. Well, and God knew that. And so, oh wait, there we go. So, like I said, Mary and Joseph are engaged. Mary ends up pregnant, and like I said, Joseph. It wasn't that he was. Like I said, he knew the way the world was then, and that she would be an outcast. People wouldn't their life would just be terrible. But before he could do this, God sent an angel in his sleep to say, hey, no, this is the Messiah you guys have been waiting for. she is going to fulfill the prophecy of the virgin birth. And let me see. And again, this shows Joseph's righteousness, because instead of casting her out and saying just making her life bad and making his life good, no, he planned to still keep her, but he wanted to send her away so that people would think that, you know, eventually that was actually their kid. But then the angel comes and says, no, this is God's son, and you are to name him Jesus. And so, you know, Joseph, you know, like I said, there was this huge dilemma he had. And if it wouldn't have been for divine intervention, she would have been, you know, he would have sent her away to quietly have this child and then pick things up. But no, when the angel came, Joseph said, yes, Lord, I understand. And then he even waited till after Jesus was born before they consummated the marriage. And then, you know, then they ended up having a bunch of kids themselves. I think Jesus had 6 brothers and 3 sisters. Like as far as like Mary and Joseph's kids, I think they had 10 altogether, if I remember correctly. Google that and make sure I'm right about the numbers. And then the prophecy that was being fulfilled was Isaiah 7:14. That was, behold, the virgin will conceive and give birth to a son, and they shall name him Emmanuel. So that's the prophecy that we're talking about. And so, like I said, that's Isaiah 7:14. And it just helps, you know, we had all these prophets and stuff that were prophesied about, but, you know, a lot of people, like, you know, the current Jewish people, they want to accept that the angels came and told everybody about the prophets that were correct, and they want to say Jesus was a prophet, but the angels didn't say he was a prophet. They said he was the Messiah. And so it's just weird how some people will, you know, take everything legitimately, and then, you know, just because they don't want to admit that they're not living correctly, they just say Jesus was a prophet and not the Messiah, even though if they just followed their own rules, they would realize he is the Messiah. But we know in end days, they end up coming back around, and there will be a huge revival in Israel, and they will all end up turning back to God. So, you know, that's another, you know, people talk about end times. If you see a Jesus revival happening in Israel, start paying a lot more attention, because that's one of those things, like, it's going to happen. And hopefully it happens soon, in my opinion. You know, number one, so more people are saved that are currently alive, and, you know, I think as most Christians, we're kind of all waiting for that day, like ready for that day. You know, there's some people that joke around on the internet and they say they're Team Asteroid, and it's kind of the same thing as that, except we know that we get eternity and heaven and a much better world. So, anyway, I think, let me make sure I don't have anything else here. Yeah, I think that's going to do it. Alright, y'all. If this is the first time one of my videos, if you would, please drop me a follow, hit that like button, share the video. I don't say that just to be a grifter. The only way small channels get any kind of push in the algorithms now is interaction. And so that's just the way the algorithms are now. The days of going viral and getting big that way are pretty much over. It's pretty much a grind at this point. So do this for anybody that you enjoy their content, not just me. Outside of prayer, the best way you can help us is interacting with our video. Like I said, liking, following, turn notifications on, leave a comment, all that stuff helps. Alright, y'all. I will catch y'all tomorrow. Peace.